Hey everyone, thanks for coming back to the BNS channel. I'm really hoping that it's not too loud in the background. I've got the windshield wipers on, it's raining, I've got the air conditioner on, so there's all that. I'm gonna try to talk loud though. So my name is Edie, and today is an update. If you've been following me for any amount of time, then you're aware that I had gastric bypass. Well, it's been 6 years as of May 4th. And so I kind of wanted to give you an update. I know that when I was getting ready to have my surgery, I did a lot of research, looked for videos like this one to show what the long-term effect was for the gastric bypass. And so I had Roux-en-Y, gastric bypass, not the sleeve, the other one. And again, it's been 6 years. So here is where I stand. When I first had the surgery, in the first year, I lost 125 pounds. It was pretty quick. According to my doctor, I was like an ideal candidate. Matter of fact, they had me on TV. They did an interview. I was the ideal candidate for how gastric bypass is supposed to work. Let's fast forward. I think I'm still in that ideal, but more of a typical results kind of a thing. So I've gained back about 40 pounds-ish. And so the 125 to 130 that I lost, I really believe that maybe about 15 to 20 of it was too much. Like I had gone past where I should have been as far as losing weight. And so by gaining the 40 pounds back, I really want to just lose about 30, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm at right now weight-wise. Health-wise, there were lots of things that shifted after I lost the weight. There wasn't as much pressure on my joints. My back and my knee and my neck weren't hurting as bad as far as like the arthritic kind of stuff that I was having. Ironically, I went into AFib the day before I was supposed to leave the hospital. And so that got diagnosed immediately. Now, I'm going to put a precursor here because I can almost swear that I had AFib before, and the surgery just triggered it. And luckily, I was at the hospital when it happened, and so they were able to track it. I've been medicated for it. Last August, I ended up having an ablation, and don't got no wood, but I have not had an AFib episode since. I still have some flutters, but they say that's normal for up to a year after. So I'm almost at my year mark. I don't get them all the time, but I do get them. But I have not had an episode of AFib at all since the ablation. So that's a bonus. I have had to have knee surgery because I tore a meniscus and an ACL. So not sure that that's weight related, but could be, who knows. That got fixed. Let's fast forward now. So here we are, 6 years out. Had the ablation last August for my heart. That seems to be good. Had the surgery over a year ago for my knee. That seems good. But I am finding out that two of the things I thought I had gotten rid of, which was sleep apnea and diabetes, are rearing their ugly heads. So let's start with the sleep apnea. I knew prior that I had central sleep apnea. And central sleep apnea is when the brain does not tell the lungs to breathe. It's not obstructive. Obstructive is when you typically snore and maybe your tongue is in the way or whatever. Sometimes weight has to do with that. People with thicker necks sometimes have obstructive sleep apnea. Mine is central. And so that just means that my brain's not talking to my lungs, and all of a sudden I just stop breathing during the night, and unless there's something to wake me up, which typically, obviously I have because I'm alive, I would need to have a machine, a BiPAP machine, to force air at me to get me to breathe again. Well, when I lost 125 pounds, my sleep doctor kind of dropped the ball and just took me off of the CPAP, assuming that I don't know, I'm not really sure what happened. There was a ball that got dropped. The doctor that I was dealing with is no longer with the practice. And so I went for the rest of the 5 years with no CPAP. And when I went in for my heart ablation, he was like, it says here on your report that you have central sleep apnea. Why are you not using a BiPAP machine? And I said, I don't know, because they told me not to. And he's like, I need you to go back and get that taken care of. So I literally just left my sleep study, and sure enough, I stopped breathing 11 times last night for central. And so I'm going to get put back on a BiPAP machine. So that's a little annoying, but at the same token, at least I know that that has nothing to do with weight. It's my brain that's dead. I don't know what it is. There's a part of my brainstem that's just not communicating, and I have central sleep apnea, and that's something that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life, and I either treat it or I don't, and I take the risk of potentially dying in my sleep, right, because I stop breathing. So that's taken care of. I did that last night. The other part, which is where I'm heading right now, is the diabetes part. Now, I've always been diagnosed with insulin resistance, and then prior to my surgery at my highest weight, I was diagnosed with prediabetes. Well, my dad died with type 1 diabetes at the age of 56. I'm 54. And so they put me on a continuous glucose monitor to see what was going on, and sure enough, during the night, my sugar is dropping. And so the alarm goes off, I have to get up, go get something to eat or drink, and then go back to bed. I do have spikes after I eat, kind of normal. We all kind of have sugar spikes after we eat. Mine tend to get a little high, like, mid 200s to 300, and then it comes right back down. So my insulin seems to be doing what it's supposed to for the most part. And so about a month ago, my doctor was like, well, you either are really severely insulin resistant, or you could even be type 1. So I'm a little concerned about that. Type 1 is not necessarily geared around weight either. And so type 2 is. So if I'm type 2, then I can hopefully, get this under control a little bit better. But it's the sugars going down during my sleep that are concerning, right? So that is where we're at. I feel still very blessed to have had the surgery and to have lost the weight that I did. And I'm going to tell you that it's because I strongly feel, you go back and look at some of those videos, I was not well. I was a very sick little girl. Pun intended, I guess. I was not little. And I really believe that if I had not lost any weight, that I could today be in a world of poo. Like, I just think I would be really sick. There were times that, and I know this sounds dramatic, but there were times that I literally felt like I was on the path of dying. Like, it was just, I felt horrible. Absolutely horrible. And so I feel better today, 6 years later, than I had felt in a long time, despite the potential of diabetes and despite the sleep apnea. I'm just kind of glad that we're able to get all of this stuff situated so that I can prolong my life and I can have a healthy time in my life to be able to be with my grandkids and whatnot. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. I think that people ask me this all the time, do you regret having your surgery? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I do not regret it, because Who knows how big I would be now? Who knows how unhealthy I would be now? Like, and been watching these Oprah shows, right? And I understand that obesity is a disease because I have food noise all the time, even after my surgery. And so it's a struggle. It's a fight constantly. And so I think the surgery was helpful because it gave me a little bit of a tool to help me from overeating, from eating the wrong stuff because I get sick, right? But there are still things that I can eat that are not good for me that don't make me sick. And so that's where the problem lies, right? And it all ends up right here. So I would love to talk to anybody that's considering the surgery, that has had the surgery, maybe somebody that's had the surgery and they're, 15 years out. It's been around that long. And so that's exciting to me to know that we are in an age now where we can provide people with opportunities to better themselves, especially when it comes to obesity, So anyway, reach out, say hi, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye now.